everyone, Sabrina here from Scrappy Tales Crafts, and today I'm going to be creating a cute engagement gazebo pop-up card. This card does not fold flat, so this would be a hand-delivered gift or a home decor piece. It could be a table setting. I just thought these were really cute, and you can make them for wedding, for any kind of springtime card. And for today, I thought it'd be cute to pair it with our new engagement couple. So here I'm showing you all the dies that I plan to use, including the new gazebo pop-up, the engagement couple, the birds from the new fountain set, these flowers from the table and bistro set wings, and then the vine from the new gazebo wraparound. So I did combine a couple products here. We're going to start off with the engagement couple. I cut the base from cream cardstock. That's going to be their skin color. And whenever I paper piece, I like to work with the larger pieces first and then go down to my small pieces. So I'm starting with her dress, and then I'll do her hair and her hat. And I'm opting for a purple dress, which I cut from pattern paper, just to add a little bit of interest. And that's always fun when you are building human characters. You can customize their clothes with pattern paper, especially if you have a lot of scraps. And all of the new couples from our latest wedding collection are very simple to paper piece. They don't have a ton of layers, and they're smaller. So each of the couples only takes me about 5 to 10 minutes to fully paper piece. And if you haven't seen the product showcase video yet, I did post that last night where I go over all of the new products from this collection. It's such a beautiful release, so I encourage you to check out that video because I made over 15 cards with my mom, and they're some of the prettiest card samples that we've made together, and we managed to work with every die from the new collection. There's actually 20 new dies, so yes, I will have that link down below, and if you leave a comment, you can enter for the chance to win a $50 Scrappy Tales gift card, and I will be announcing the winner next Friday. So here's my completed couple. I didn't bother to paper piece their shoes because I do have to trim them down a little bit to fit inside the gazebo. Now I'm going to work on the bushes, and these come in the topiary wings die set. They are the bushes that are attached to that potted topiary. So I just cut the bushes. I'm only going to end up using 2 of these 3 bushes, so I will cut them apart later on. And all of our new topiaries have 3 layers, so you'll get a very detailed, colorful bush. And the second layer that I'm gluing, you can see there is a pattern on the paper. So again, I cut it from some green pattern paper just to add some interest to these bushes. I did, after finishing the paper piecing, realize that the base green is quite light. So I am going to take a Copic marker and darken the green color a little bit. That way everything blends together well. Later on, I'm also going to add some yellow flowers to these bushes, and they come in the new Bistro Wing die set. So I will have everything I used linked down below. And now I am adding the 3rd layer to these bushes. And the 3rd layer does have some small pieces, but there are engraved lines on each layer so you know where everything goes. And again, it's always helpful to start with the larger pieces and work down to the smaller ones. So I'll continue paper piecing, and I do want to mention that my mom and I are going to be going live tomorrow night because there are a couple cards that we didn't have in the showcase that we really want to create. So we will make a gazebo wraparound card and then another one of these gazebos with a light inside, because as beautiful as this card is, it will look even better with a light inside. And I will, at the end of the video, insert a clip of what it does look like with the light kind of hovering in the back of the card. But there is a way to attach a light, and when I say this, I mean the Pear Blossom single lights, to the bottom of these cards where you won't see it at all, and it illuminates the entire inside of the card. So definitely stay tuned for that live. Again, it's going to be tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern, Sunday, July 13th. And I do have a couple more pre-recorded videos that are scheduled to go up while I am on vacation. And orders will still be processed through my dad. There might be a little bit of a delay starting on Wednesday. That's when we are leaving for 2 weeks, but we will get your orders processed while we are gone. So we wanted to make sure that we had the light up card and the wraparound, so we thought it would be fun to do a live together tomorrow. I also have 2 live replay videos that you can watch on my channel already. They're not in my normal video feed. You will have to go to the live section in order to see those videos, but I made both of those cards in real time. So if you enjoy seeing cards made in real time without it being sped up, especially when it comes to pop-up card making, I always encourage you to join my lives because they're really fun. You can chat with each other while I'm crafting and I answer questions. You can craft with me and it's all slowed down. So you can really see what I'm doing and I can explain it as I am actually building the card. So that's a great way to learn how to build any of my pop-ups. And I usually announce when I go live either the day before or the day of on my Instagram and the Scrappy Tales fan group on Facebook. So I do have the group linked in my video description if you would like to join. It's open to everyone, and crafters will share what they've created using Scrappy Tales products, and it's a great place for inspiration. My design team also regularly posts in that group. So yeah, and any sort of sales or announcements, I typically post everything there before my other social medias. So it's a great place to stay updated. All right, so now I'm paper piecing the birds from our new garden fountain die set. They are nice and tiny. They work well with the bushes. And I do have these vines and the flowers. I will use those once my card is assembled. So now we can start assembling the gazebo. So I cut the roof from a heavyweight craft cardstock and then the triangle roof layers from a green pattern paper. So I am just gluing the pattern paper triangles onto the roof. You can see that there's a craft edge all around each triangle, which is really pretty. And then there is a 1/4 inch overhang that you can fold down. Now, if you look closely, you'll see that one of the triangles does not have a fold down 1/4 inch tab. That's actually a triangle you won't even see. It's going to be glued underneath the triangle that's next to it or above it at the moment. So before I glue anything, I will just reinforce the score lines on this roof piece. So I slowed this down to real time. I always suggest with any score line for our pop-ups to fold them down and up to really train the score line. So I'm going to go all the way around pretty carefully, folding down all of these score lines. Now this pop-up does not fold flat, so do keep that in mind. It can be fully enclosed at the bottom, so you can put a little gift inside. I think these would make great bridal shower cards too, or bridal thank you cards. All right, so now we're back to this triangle that doesn't have the tab below it, and you can see that it's just going to glue right underneath the triangle that's next to it. So visibly, once that is glued behind it, you're only going to see 8 triangles. So I'm going to take some 1/2-inch tape and fully cover that triangle. So technically you don't need to put a pattern paper triangle on this one because you won't see it anyway. So I removed the backer on the tape, and now I'm just going to tuck it underneath that triangle above it. And this is the piece that you'll end up with. You can go ahead now and fold down the 1/4-inch tabs, and that's going to wrap nicely around the base of the gazebo and give it that pretty overhang look. So we will set this piece aside and then work on the base. You can see that this will flatten, but once it's glued onto the gazebo, it won't flatten anymore. But you should have a piece that looks like that. Now for the base, you're going to need 4 total pieces. I cut 3 of them with the die that just cuts out the arched windows with the banisters underneath. And then you can see this one that I'm adding tape to on the right side, it has the longer door opening of the gazebo. So you only need 1 of those. Unless you want to have a front and back that has a door, then you can do 2 with the longer arched window and 2 with the shorter windows. But in this case, I did 3 shorter and the 1 long. So now I'm just adding 1/4-inch double-sided tape to all of the glue tabs on these pieces. I went with kind of like a muted blue-green color. I thought that would be a nice alternative because as I was making these gazebo cards, more than half of them were white. So I was trying to find an alternative color, and I kind of like this desaturated seafoam color. So now you can reinforce the score lines. Now there are a few score lines on these pieces, but you only need to fold 2 of them. So you need to fold along the very center, that straight line in the center, which I'm folding now, folding them down, and then the score line by the glue tab. The rest of those score lines are there to help you line up the pieces when you glue them together. So just know you're only folding down the score line by the glue tab and that center score line in between the windows. Now you can see that each one can attach to the next. So I'll remove the backer on the tape and line it up to another base piece on the side that doesn't have the glue tab. I'm going to do that to all 4 pieces. So here is my last one. I'm going to remove the backer on the tape, line it up to the side that doesn't have a glue tab. So in this case, it's the left side. And then you'll end up with this long strip, and you can attach each end together with that final glue tab. Now, you'll also notice that there are 4 square tabs at the top of this gazebo. And those pieces will help you attach your roof. So you do not need to cut any of these glue tabs. You can use all 4 of them to attach your roof. But in this case, I ended up cutting 2 of them off because you really only need 2. So what I did was I flattened this piece. You can see that there's 2 tabs that overlap each other in the center. Those are the 2 tabs I wanted to keep. So I just cut the single squares on the left and right side. Now I have these 2 back-to-back squares. You're going to add double-sided tape to the front of each of them. So don't add any tape to the back side. We're still working with the front of the gazebo. And I like to attach my front tab first. So I'm going to remove the backer on the tape, take my roof piece, or first I'm going to flatten this. Then I'll take my roof, and I'm also going to flatten this so that only 4 triangles are exposed. So it's basically just folded right in the middle. And you're going to line up the bottom of the square that's on the base, that bottom score line, to the score line where that overhang is. So I'm trying to show this on camera. It's a little bit harder to see, and I'll point this out more on the live tomorrow if you join us. But you can see that the bottom of that square, that line at the bottom of the square will line up with the line that's on the overhang. So I removed the backer on that tape, so it's sticky now, and all I have to do is flatten my roof. Again, I'm just checking to make sure that those lines are lined up perfectly. Once I see that it looks good, I'm just going to close this, and that tape will stick to the front or to the back of the roof. And then I can flip it over and do the same thing on the other side. So for me, it's easier just to do this with 2 glue tabs. That's why I cut the other 2 off. But technically, you can do the same thing with the other 2 if you want extra security. And also, technically, you can see that this card does fold flat this way. I will say the reason we ended up promoting it more as just a regular pop-up that doesn't fold flat is because you do really have to work with the roof to form it into that gazebo shape. So you can see technically it can. You will have to kind of shape it. And simply because I like working with heavyweight paper, to me it just looks a lot better when I fully secure it down. So in order to do that, you're going to take all of those 1/4 inch overhang pieces, add some glue behind them, and tack them down onto the base piece that's below it. You can do 1/4 inch tape, that'll be a lot faster, but I like to work each panel one at a time. So that's what I'm going to do here. You do have to have a little bit of patience to let the glue dry before you move on to the next panel. But I love how this ends up looking, and you can use this gazebo for Halloween. I will be creating a Halloween add-on for this and for Christmas. And if you watch the showcase video, my mom made a beautiful gazebo card for a winter wedding. You can also decorate this with some glitter as snow at the top of the roof. You can add cardinals instead of the spring birds to really dress it up for the holidays. You can also add vellum behind all of these windows and then add a tea light at the bottom and have a beautiful home decor piece. Like I said, these would make great little gifts if you put candy inside. I plan to create a bunch of these for my friend who's getting married in a gazebo. That's where the inspiration from the whole collection started, with this gazebo and then the gazebo wraparound, which we will feature in tomorrow's live as well. And I partially chose those because I really wanted to make these table settings for my friend. And instead of having a couple on the inside, I plan to put a picture of the bride and groom. So now we have to add the cap at the bottom. And I do suggest, before adding the cap, to add your couple into the slit. So I ended up gluing the cap first and then realized that I had to add my bridge into my slit and then the couple while the gazebo was completely built. So that meant I had to kind of finagle the couple in through the windows of the gazebo, which was kind of difficult. So I suggest adding your couple through the slit and then adding your cap, or add your cap and then add your couple in from the top of the card and then close it with the roof. There's a couple ways to do it to make it easier. This was my first time building this pop-up, so I just kind of wanted to see what it would look like. So I got a little bit ahead of myself, and all I'm doing is adding glue to each of those tabs, and there's a tab for each panel on the gazebo above it. So again, just like we did with those 1/4-inch overhangs, I'm adding a combination of glue and tape, and one at a time adding or sticking down each glue tab. Now, the reason there's a slit at the bottom of this base piece is so you can attach anything really on the inside of your cards. In this case, I'm going to go with a couple. But like I said, you can do a photo of your bride and groom. You can do a bench with like a little kitty or a puppy, I think would be cute. You can do the bistro set from the new collection. All right, so here is my little engagement couple, and you can see that they can go through the slit if you didn't already attach the cap to the gazebo. So here is that bridge that is what you would glue the couple onto, and then slide the slit at the bottom. Actually, you would slide the bridge in from the bottom of the slit and then glue your couple on top and then glue your cap onto the gazebo. I'm sure you guys have already figured that out, but I'm going to go ahead and feed this bridge through the slit. And then I'm going to add glue to my couple's legs. So I'm first actually going to cut their feet off so that they line up better with the windows. But I'll also add glue to their legs. Now I'll cut off their feet. And then I'm going to slip them in through the door and position them onto the bridge. So it was a little bit difficult, but ended up being okay. And now it's time to decorate with my vines. These come in the Gazebo wraparound die set, and they're the perfect length to kind of fall down from the roof. So I will have some on the banister of the gazebo and some I'll glue onto the roof. And this is the fun part. I really enjoy decorating the outside of the gazebo. Any of the topiaries from the new collection are perfectly sized to go around the gazebo. There are some pigeons from the anniversary couple set that can also double as doves if you want to combine them with the wedding couple. We also have brought out couples in Valentine collections in the past, and I'm pretty sure they might also fit inside. The possibilities are pretty endless with this little pop-up, and it is 6x6 in size. All right, I'm gonna pull in my bushes now, and this is where I realized that I only need 2 of them, so I will cut them apart. And you can technically decorate the entire gazebo all the way around, but I only focused on like the first 3 panels because that's where my couple ended up falling. So I will add one of my birdies into the bush. Butterflies would be cute too. So here's my pink birdie I'm going to add beside the bush, and then the flying one I'm going to put on the roof. And it's really starting to look like a little fairy tale gazebo. And again, I wish I had known about the light trick for this card, because it does cast a shadow on the inside of the gazebo, which makes it dark, slightly dark inside, and the light just really makes the couple pop more. So I'm going to fill in with a couple more vines at the top. And then I just have to accent with some flowers. And the flowers are from the new bistro table and chair wing set. So the bushes will get yellow flowers and the vines will get pink to match with my birds. And I'm using the tip of my glue needle to pick up these tiny flowers. So as I'm wrapping up this card, I do want to mention that all of our pop-up bundles are 10% off until Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. Eastern. So I would take advantage of that. This bundle includes the gazebo and the 3 couples that perfectly fit inside. And then we have a few others, including the new trifold add-ons. So I'm just going to add my last couple flowers, and then I'm going to show you what this card would look like with the light. So up here I have some pink florals. And this just gives it that magical fairy tale touch. And that is the completed project. So let me grab a light. And this is the Pear Blossom Press single light. You just basically put the battery inside the clip holder and press the button. They are super simple to use. They're my favorite lights by Pear Blossom. Her 3 lights would also be cute because they kind of look like fairy lights, and I might do a video with the fairy lights too, or maybe we'll try to do it tomorrow with the single light and the fairy lights. But you can see you can add the light at the roof, or it looks even better at the bottom. So here's an example. I showed this in my showcase video and I couldn't find the light, so my mom hid it really well, but it's at the bottom of the card, and I'm clicking it right there. And you can see when it's at the bottom, you can hide it behind the couple and it illuminates the entire gazebo, which is really pretty. So here's a close-up of the engagement card. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, I'll have everything linked down below, and I'll have another video tutorial posted very soon. So I'll see you next time. Bye!